Hey patrons, it's Johannes, it's Friday, so I'm gonna release a new plugin. No, I don't release new plugins every Friday, but this Friday I release this thing. Do you remember that I released a phase shift plugin called 360 like 2-3 months ago, something like that? Well, I continue working on that, and this I named 360 Pro, or right now it's 360 Mix Pro. I always wanted to name a plugin Pro, but I think it's so cheesy, so I haven't done it. But I decided to let's do it with this one. And I also wrote super professional face manipulator in the plugin, so you know that this is a professional plugin. Otherwise, you probably don't understand that. All right, what is this thing? Well, it's the same thing as 360. You can shift the phase by 360 degrees. You can do it 180 degrees positive or negative 180. So it's a 360 full turn. The thing is that this is multiband, so you can put out nodes like this, and you can have different phase shift on different frequencies. And this isn't totally unique. There are other plugins that do this, but I think this one is better and this one is more useful, at least for what I'm using it for. All right, let's flatten this. So let's start with just talking about the plugin, and this is in kind of a mastering context, because yes, you can use this in mastering. You shouldn't do it. Well, be careful if you do it in mastering. But what it does is actually that it will simulate the thing where you use an analog EQ and you EQ a little bit different on the left and the right channel to achieve a little bit of phase shift between the channels, so you get a nice stereo image. We're going to overdo it today, but this is what I use this plugin for. And I actually don't use there's a mastering version of this which is higher resolution for the higher tiers that I haven't released yet, but I would release that for higher tiers. But I actually use this one for mastering as long as I stay away from the low end, which I would anyway. I would do that if I used an analog EQ to achieve that phase shift as well. I wouldn't do that with the lowest frequencies. I would go up maybe around 300-400 hertz, then you can start to play around with it. Some cases go lower, but about there. All right, we're gonna demo this first with just in a mastering situation. So we're gonna do something with the stereo image, and we're gonna start by doing something extreme so you can hear how messed up things will be. So we're gonna do it with the left channel in this situation. Otherwise, this is the stereo in both channels, and this is the left and this is the right. So it's pretty easy. We do it with the left right now, and we're gonna take this node and we're gonna shift it up like that once we start playing. So you can just hear that the phase is shifting by a lot. You can hear that we got phase cancellation pretty much. We shifted the phase in the left channel by a lot. So we know that it's working pretty much. So we have a mono button so that we can listen to if we change things in a way that's destructive. So I put the mono button here, and I also wired it a bit differently. It's wired so that it's active after the bypass as well. So you can compare with and without this plugin in mono without leaving the plugin. So that's a cool thing. So let's do that. We'll play a section of the song here again, and I will do the same phase shift and see what happens with the mono signal. and we completely destroyed the music. So be careful when you work with phase. Let's do another setting, and I'm gonna do the setting without listening. So we're just gonna put a frequency like let's say 367. That's good. And then we'll start to play around with the phase here. We're gonna change the phase, do some crazy stuff here. Yeah, this is cool. Cool. A lot of nodes. Crazy stuff. There we go. Let's see what this sounds like. And let's start in bypass, and I'm gonna activate the plugin after a bar or two. As you can hear, when you get away from the low end, it starts to get way more transparent. You can still hear it clearly here because that whistle sound sounds weird and missing frequencies and stuff. We can use the scale button to scale it down so that it's not as obvious. And with this setting, I can't really hear it. It's probably there. I could probably be more careful, but this would probably work. And let's see if we gained anything in the stereo image. Can you hear that it gives you a little bit of the same effect as using an analog EQ on the two different channels? I can hear it anyway. But let's try the dynamic setting. So we activate dynamics, and we're going to use the inverted version. The inversion means that it will follow the envelope, but the opposite around. So when the signal is hot, then there won't be as much phase shift, and when the signal gets weaker, then it will expand the phase shift. So you will see how it works when we do that. You can hear that I smeared the transients a little bit. That's what's happening when you start to move things around in the left and right channel. But it's not that I would get away with it. And sometimes it can even sound good because you can soften the transient in the mid channel and expand the stereo width of the track in a really pleasant way. And when we're working with it dynamically, every time the kick hits, it just concentrates everything down into the middle. So most transients and important stuff are kept. And as the signal gets weaker, then you have some stereo image, which will give you some air to the whole thing. So I think let's just quickly go through the other controls. Flatten will flatten everything. So you start out with from scratch. Not going to do that now because I need the notes to show you this. This thing will jump between the notes so that you can easily find a note and edit that without using the interface here. And you have the amplitude of that, and you can also choose the frequency. Of course, you can't go beyond the next node. So as you can see, even if I start this, takes this down to 28 hertz, it will get stuck up here because it's stuck between two nodes. But that's the frequency. And scale, that's just like a zoom, so you can either boost it by times 2, or you can take it down to 0, so no phase shift is happening at all. And that's just for convenience. If you've gone a bit too far and don't want to start to edit every node, then you can just dial that back a little bit. Yeah, dynamics, it activates the dynamics. Attack and release is for the dynamics. Invert button, that is for the peak follower, if it should follow the peak or if it should do the opposite. And I like the inverted, so I like the opposite. Flatten will flatten. Mono, we talked about that. Delta is always delta, bypass bypass. And these buttons choose which node. And that's pretty much that. That's the plugin. Yeah, and the left and right button, which channel you want to work with, or if you want to work with the stereo version. There's actually a trick that you can do with a higher resolution mastering version of this for the higher tiers. Then you can create the similar thing as bass flip, but this is a complete this is another other filter, so it will give you another flavor, and it's more, you can set it up more manually and what we can do in bass flip. But you can do the same thing, so you can choose a low end frequency. Then you have to dial in something like this, like that. Find the frequency, and it should be narrower like that. 62. Oh, that's the last one. There we go. So that's pretty much bass flip, but you can do it for an exact frequency, and then you can use it dynamically as well if you want to. That's a cool trick. That's one reason to use it in stereo, and also if you're fixing phase issues between instruments in the mix, could be a reason to use it in stereo. Otherwise, you use it in left or the right channel to create stereo width. And we're actually gonna demo that with a mix that I did, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about that, but I need to pause because I need to change the project and do some settings and stuff. So I will pause. I see you in a heartbeat. Boom! I'm back. Yeah. All right. This project is a mix with, I don't remember how many channels, but it's like 40 or 50 channels. And I made a mix completely in mono. So I discarded all the stereo information. So it was completely in mono. And it was terrible to work like that. Normally you do a mix and you switch to mono at times to see if it sounds good, or at least I work that way. And sometimes I work for a couple of minutes in mono, but then I always know in the back of my mind that I have the stereo image, I have that width, that is so nice to listen to. When I did this mix, I discarded all the original stereo information, monoed everything, and all the pans are straight up. And it's really hard to mix like that, even though I know my monitors, I know my room, and it's a fantastic room to work in. And it was crazy hard. So it sounds, let's listen a bit to the mix. It's in mono, so it sounds like this.
something so special about your.
And the other thing I did, because I wanted to save time, is that I used Limitless as the only plugin to mix with. And I thought that was a great idea when I started, but halfway through, not so much. It's really hard to mix with just one plugin. So it's one Limitless on every channel. So I have Limitless and 360 Pro on every channel. And those are the two plugins that I use, except for the vocal. In the vocal, that has a weird boxy tone to it, so I had to use some other plugins. But that's the only plugin, or the only channel where I used other things than Limitless or 360 Pro. So bear that in mind when you listen to this mix. But even that said, I actually think I succeeded. I got a decent mix with just Limitless. So Limitless is a fantastic plugin, and we already know that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna activate all the 360 Pro instances on this track, and there's a lot, as you can see. It's yeah, I don't know. It's maybe 40 instances, or at least 25, 30 or something. So, and they look different, like that, and like that, like that, and like that. These are different channels with different settings on all of them. Some are dynamic, some are not. So, yeah, it's a phase crazy mess that I created. So I'm gonna play a couple of bars and I'm gonna activate it so you can all the instances at the same time. But I had to up my buffer size on the audio interface. I don't know if the sync gonna be that great when I'm activating all plugins at the same time. So we'll see, and maybe there's some crackers and stuff. But we'll notice that. All right, so this is just a demonstration what you can do if you have a complete, everything is just completely mono, and this is just 360 Pro.
Something so special about you and me, babe. You got me, you got me, you got me feeling fine. So just say the words, cause you know what it means to me, babe. When you got me, you got me, you got me feeling right.
So this is all just fake stereo by using phase shifts in left or the right channel. Sometimes dynamic, sometimes static phase shift changes. So it's really powerful. If someone sent me this mix without telling me that it was completely fake, all the stereo image information is just fake, I wouldn't have noticed it. I would maybe think that there's something weird with the stereo image, because there's nothing that is placed in the stereo field. It's just spread out, and that's the difference between this and using pan and reverbs and delays and stuff to create an image. It's just smeared out, but it sounds okay. It sounds good. It's yeah, it's good enough. And my idea of how to use this plugin while mixing is, of course, you should use reverb and delays and pans and all that things. But let's say that you have a vocal and you want it dry, but you want to spread it a little bit. So you want it completely dry, but you just, a little spread so that it's not in the phantom center, just a little bit wider. Then you can do it with this. So instead of using reverb or delay or other means of spreading the stereo image, you can just use 360 Pro and do some subtle phase changes, and all of a sudden the voice, if it's the vocal or other instruments, are just a little bit broader without sacrificing too much. And I put a correlation meter here, multi-band correlation meter, just to show you that even though we are messing with phase on so many channels in this project, the phase stays okay. It's on the positive side pretty much the whole song through, and it would probably be completely fine to cut it on vinyl, for example. So let's have a look at the correlation meter when I'm playing the song. Yeah, so that is 360 Pro. Yeah. And there will be a mastering version for higher paying tiers as well. That is exactly the same plugin, but with a higher resolution. And that's the only difference between them. And sometimes that is better. I actually think this version, the mixed version, is better for creating stereo or shifts in the phase for mixing, for example, or even in mastering. I think it's cooler with this when it's not super high. Every frequency isn't just this narrow. It's more like a little bit wider. I think that works better. But the mastering version is good for low end, and this version will pretty much mess up your low end when you start to work, really fine tune things way down there in the frequency spectrum. All right, that's 360 Pro. I finally have a plugin called Pro. I think I will put Pro in all my plugins from now on. It feels so good. So 360 Mix Pro, and go and download it and have fun. And there's a demo version, and so you can try it out if you want, and it's cool. And I see you with the next plugin. Have a great evening. All right, bye bye.